Hello and welcome to Bench Build. Today we are going to talk about packing tires. These are the tools you will need. For this day are used tires, cardboard, and clean fill dirt. So nothing with organic material or a ton of rocks in it. Let's talk tires. Size matters when it comes to building with them. Most tires have a 3-number identifier for the size. An example that we have here is 235/65R, which actually stands for a radial tire, and then 15. Let's look at what these mean. The first number is the width of the tire. So when it's laying flat on the ground, that's how tall it's going to be. 235 is a good number for a long bench to have as the base. It can be smaller because it is just a bench. If you're building a wall, 235 is definitely the minimum size to start with. The second number is a percentage of the first number and is the tire wall. And that you want to be 60 to 75. No low profile tires, because if there's not enough sidewall, it's really hard to pack and have it hold everything. The last number is the rim size, and that you want bigger than 14 or bigger. 14 is definitely the minimum, otherwise you can't get the sledgehammer in to actually pack the tire. Now let's look at the structure, the layout of the tires. So the bottom row of tires needs to be all the same size exactly. All 3 numbers need to match for the bottom row. The second row on a staggered bench can be one size smaller. One size meaning the very first number is one size down, but the last 2 numbers are the same. So when you go a size down in tires, it's actually a 10. So the tires we're using, the bottom row is 235/65R17. Our second row is 225/65R17. So again, only that first number changes. They can be exactly the same size on a staggered bench. On a toadstool, where you're just going straight up, and if you're going to do more than one tire, they need to be exactly the same size. It's a good idea to lay out the bench first and then mark where it's going to go, especially if you need to do any work to the ground. So in our case, we needed to remove all the organic material because organic material can break down over time, which can cause the tires to shift. Then we added dirt to actually level the ground.
So this is to make sure the ground is flat and level, and it needs to be compacted and stable so that the tires don't settle in. We try to remove as much organic material as possible because that can break down and cause things to shift. Well, first I'm going to get the water out because it's been raining, and then we're going to put the first level. So all these tires are the same size. These ones are 235/65R17. For a small bench, they don't need to be this big. They just need to be the same size for the first row. Okay, so if you have a level, you can use that to see if they are pretty close. You can see there's a gap here. So they're not going to be level. These we know are on a slope, so I don't need the bubble to be in the right spot, but I need them to be about the same height. If you don't have a level, you can literally use the back of a flat tool to see if they're close. So we are close, but the middle one is a little low, so we're going to put a little bit more dirt under that side. So we're just adding a little bit of soil to make sure that all 3 tires are even on the top, so when we pack them, they will stay even, and the next level will also be even. Boom. All right, it's touching every tire, so we are good. Okay, so now we're just filling the tire with dirt. We're only gonna get it about halfway, and then we will talk about the next step in this process. What we're doing now is this dirt happens to have a lot of roots in it, so we're just trying to thin it out as much as possible because, again, we don't want a bunch of organic material because it will break down, and that makes the area filled smaller, which makes the tires squishy, which can cause the whole thing to kind of break down over time. We need to make sure that the dirt goes out into the rim of the tire. So as we fill, we'll just hand push it into the edges and then continue to do so as you fill it up. Now I'm also checking for big rocks that need to come out, but this is getting full enough where we need to start packing it up and under the rim. So you want to make sure, because it's easy to get a void in this space, that there is soil all the way around underneath in the tire. So we'll have to get more to finish checking it all the way around. But you can see we're actually tucking it up and under. And once you start going, you'll be able to even just feel on the outside. So this is what we call hand packing. All right. So we are continuing to hand pack, but you can see. So if I push here, not a lot of give. If I push over here, this area is not packed yet, but it definitely gets firmer as we go around. So you can tuck it up and under, or you can push it, whatever works for you. But again, we're pushing up and in, and then also this helps clean out this area, which we need the space for to actually fit the sledgehammer in when we go to pack the tire with that. Okay, so last little check, and we're pretty firm all the way around, so it's time to sledgehammer. Because every once in a while you will hit something and it will go flying, so make sure you have protection. Gloves are highly recommended. And as far as hold it at the top and hold it low and bend your knees so you don't hurt your back. And you're not going to come all the way back here and then come down for aiming reasons, for your back. You're just going to start here and you're going to work all the way around. Again, if you see big rocks, just kick them out as you go. At this point, when it's still early on, you can use the side of the sledge. Then we'll go ahead and add some more dirt and keep going. Moist soil is great because it packs really well. If it gets too wet, it can be a problem because it will literally just stick to the sledgehammer and come right back out. So this is a good time to have two people. So one person would be putting the soil in as the other person's packing. Just make sure for safety that no one's getting hit with a shovel or a sledgehammer. And also note, we're doing the end tire. With just 3, you could start in the middle, but you can't do this one and then if we had another one over there, do that one. Or you can't do the end one and then do this one and try to fill the one in the middle, because as they get packed, 1, they'll shift a little bit, but 2, they puff up and get a little bit bigger as well. So while this one could be getting filled and hand packed, you wouldn't start sledgehammer packing until this one is completely done. And how do you know when you're done? When you keep hitting it and it's not packing anymore, honestly. So we're getting pretty close, so also you'll come around and just push. So this side you can see, tell has a soft spot. So we need to pack that a little bit more. So we got a little bit around. This part over here is pretty good. This part's great, so we'll just probably one more round and then we'll start packing in the middle. One thing too, as you start getting fuller, don't hit the rim. If you hit the rim, it actually knocks the dirt back out, the reverberation or something. So make sure you're not hitting the rim as you get down to this last, or even before. It's pretty easy to hit it. On average, you can estimate, depends on the soil, depends on whatever, about 20 minutes minimum to pack a tire. Can take up to an hour. we were at a location where the soil was really dry and it was just really hard to get the tire packed. So it just depends. There we go. So one last check. This part's still a little low. And don't just, so exactly what I just did, don't do. So now I'll go check all the way around again. So we lost some over here. Okay. All right, so that's good. We're good. It's solid all the way around. So now we're just gonna fill it in and we'll start doing straight down packing. Again, be careful not to hit the rim. When you're tamping, you need to make it compacted as possible, but make sure not to hit the top of the tire. Hitting the tire again from the top could knock the dirt out and it will create a soft spot again. Really just gonna focus on the center now and getting that last little bit of packing. We're good. One done. Yay! We're gonna start packing this tire. So first thing is you wanna make sure that it is touching this tire. So you can see with packing, you get little dirt chunks. So just make sure that it's nice and snug. And then as you pack it, it'll shift. So you always wanna make sure, just take a little bit of nudging and make sure that it's always touching this one. So, and I just keep checking this to make sure it doesn't creep too far away and that too much dirt isn't building up in between. But you can see like I just can't hit it any harder and the top is hard, so this one's soft. So you gotta kind of go around and this side's hard. There we go. So now that we're this close, yeah, we're good. You're gonna check one more time. This is how you also know if you're packing. So this one's higher now. So this one is still, oh shoot. There is quite a difference here. So there's a couple of things we can do. One is we can tamp this down just a little bit. So this is when you do tamp on the edge, very gently. Closer or no? Shoot. So this tire is significantly higher than this tire, but we know they started off at the same height because we checked them when they were empty. So what I'm going to do now is come back. I'm going to try to pack this tire a little bit more and see if I can get to fluff up to the height of this one, because I can't keep pushing down on this one and packing dirt out or it'll become soft. You can already see it's kind of puffing up more, so gonna go all the way around. Okay, so let's do a quick check. Much closer. So we've gone from almost an inch to about a quarter. So a little bit more and we should be good. All right, so we checked. So have like teeny tiny gap, so we are good with that. So we're just now we're gonna fill them all in again on the top, tamp them down, get on to the next level. So now we're just doing the final tamping, getting the last of this row completed. And then we will go ahead and add the next row. So now we're starting the next level, and so the dirt doesn't just fall through the tire and onto the ground. We have cardboard, pretty decent sizes, that we're gonna layer in here to keep the dirt inside the tire. So you're literally just gonna fold it up and tuck it in. That one can stay like that. It's a little thick, if that's okay. Oops. They're a little too long. So this is definitely not enough. Like you can see, I can push on it and it kind of almost falls in. So just keep layering. That is probably good. So again, we're just pushing down. I'm actually going to put in just this last piece just for safety. Push down and blow it out. And now we just do what we did with the first tires, act like that's our base, fill it up, make sure it's centered over your two tires, and as it fills up it actually locks into place because the front and the back, like it'll puff up and it kind of puffs up in between